Moonlighter, from developer Digital Sun, is self-described as demonstrating two sides of a coin. You play as Will, a shopkeeper in Rhinoka, a small town adjacent to a series of dungeons. Though you run your shop, the Moonlighter, by day, you adventure into the dungeons by night in pursuit of your secret dream of being an adventurer and opening the legendary fifth door of Rhinoka. Moonlighter is a great game that is half roguelite and half business tycoon. You are in charge of not only finding merchandise to sell while adventuring in the dungeons, you are also responsible for understanding the ins and outs of selling that merchandise and running a successful business. It's a fascinating concept, and Moonlighter simplifies the shop sim enough that it doesn't feel like an entirely new game that is burdensome to learn and oddly tacked on to a fully fleshed out roguelite. First and foremost, the roguelite elements of the game are executed perfectly vis-a-vis the overall story of the game. The dungeons are the only place where Will can find rare artifacts to sell in his shop. There are several different dungeons, such as the Golem Dungeon and the Desert Dungeon, where different kinds and rarities of artifacts can be found. Late at night is the best time to find the rarest artifacts, so Will moonlights. Some items are common, such as vines, slime, and iron rods, whereas others, like golem cores, are more rare and fetch a much higher price. Some items even have specific areas of your bag in which they must be placed, requiring you to be strategic about how you fill your inventory to take the greatest number of high-value items during each run. Every night, after a good day of selling your wares, you might shop for some gear, enchantments, or potions before heading to the dungeons and deciding which you'd like to spend the night in. The basic elements of gameplay will be familiar to those who have played many roguelites in the past. You can attack with your basic weapons, whether that be a broom, or sword, or bow. You can roll to avoid damage, and you can use potions to keep yourself alive. You are in search of a large boss enemy in each section of the dungeon. Defeating the boss allows you to progress to the next set of rooms. The goal is to finish each dungeon in order to open the next dungeon's door, culminating in unlocking the fifth door of Rhinoka. If at any time you find yourself running out of space in your backpack in the dungeons, running low on health, or simply running from a giant monster intent on your demise, you begin with a handy pendant that allows you to transport back to town from any point in the dungeon, for a cost. This is a perfect mechanic for this game, making it so you have full control over every dive into the depths of the earth. There is no lengthy backtracking necessary if you are in over your head, or simply don't have space for any more loot. Now, for the other half of the game, the shopkeeping aspect. Significantly less time is necessary to run your shop than is needed to explore the dungeons, as this is a roguelite at its core. The Moonlighter adds another layer of depth to the gameplay of, well, Moonlighter. In order to buy new armor, weapons, enchantments, and so on, you must have two things: money and materials. Materials are acquired in the dungeons and then sold in your shop to gain money. You stock your shelves with items and can set the price for as little as 1 coin per item, all the way up to over 9 million coins per item. But good luck selling any item at that price. Every item is recorded in your shop journal in the same sector of the notebook as other similarly priced items. So even though you must make an educated guess as to a fair price when you get new items, you are not completely in the dark. After choosing your prices and displaying your items, you open up shop. Customers will wander in at their own pace and look at the items you have on sale. By paying attention to the faces customers make while browsing your wares, you can figure out what price is appropriate for each item. To save time, the shop notebook also records the reactions you get at each price, so you don't have to remember, guess, or keep track of it separately yourself. However, you can't take for granted that the prices will always elicit the same reactions. If you flood the market with one item, you will have to lower its price in the future to keep customers happy. That's supply and demand, folks. In a roguelike game, who would have thought? You'll find yourself restocking, repricing, and rushing to the counter to sell items constantly, which is great. It never gets dull to run the shop, and in the grand scheme of things, these portions generally go faster than adventuring in the dungeons, which keeps them from becoming stale and boring. Lastly, the music in Moonlighter is beautiful. I'm sure you've noticed the music in the background of this review, which has been a collection of some of my favorite songs from the game. The songs that play in your shop and around town are ethereal, and make use of woodwinds, strings, bells, and light percussion to really draw you into the feeling of mystery surrounding the town and the dungeons. You, as the humble shopkeep you are, feel the vibe of the townsfolk lazily drifting into your shop in search of a bargain, while you rush around restocking and repricing based on the reactions you receive from your customers. When you approach the dungeons, the music ceases completely, adding gravity to the situation and making it feel almost as though the dungeons are situated on sacred ground. Moonlighter has the perfect blend of music, and it was a big highlight for me as I played through the game. A true hidden gem, Moonlighter proves itself capable of immaculately balancing a shopkeeper sim and dungeon crawling roguelite, without either side of the game feeling rushed or becoming boring, and is brought to another level by a perfectly paired soundtrack. The fact that I'd not heard a word about Moonlighter, and still haven't even after it made its appearance as a free game on the Epic Games eShop, is shocking. I was sad when I had to move on from Moonlighter to review a new game, which is rare for me after pouring 15 to 20 hours into a game over the course of 2 or 3 days. It is definitely a game I will continue to play in my free time, because it sucked me into its world and it was fun throughout my entire playtime. If you're hesitant to pick this game up because of the shopkeeping aspect of it, let me abate your fears. The roguelite portion of the game is absolutely the forefront, and the shopkeeping segments are a perfectly paired side focus. It serves to progress your abilities and allow you to feel more powerful and proficient at slaying the various monsters you encounter in the dungeons. The way the gear and enchantments are handled make it so that none of the dungeons become obsolete after you've completed them because of the scarce resources they provide that you will need throughout the game. It is a wonderful game with perfect balance and beautiful artistic direction that I can't recommend enough to a lover of roguelites. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this review, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel to help me reach a wider audience and keep making these videos. Did you really enjoy the video? Support me for the price of a cup of coffee, or check out my sister channel, RL Gaming, and my website, roguelifereviews.com. Links to everything will be down in the description.